This is our first broadcast of the new news channel, doing the Eureka County Commission news. And I'm sorry for, getting ready on the air, but here we go. So I am going to be covering the Board of Eureka County Commissioners meeting of November 5th, 2021. And I apologize for it being so many days later. Obviously, today is the 11th, and that's 6 days later. But we've been really busy here. And so this was the scheduled meeting November 5th, 2021 at 9:30 a.m. in the Commissioner's Chambers at the County Courthouse located at 10 South Main Street, Eureka, Nevada. The commissioners in attendance were J.J. Goicoechea, Chairman, Rich McKay, Member, Michael Sharkozy, Vice Chair, and Jackie Berg, Commissioner's Administrative Assistant. The meeting came to order at 9:30 a.m. with the approval of the agenda notice and the Pledge of Allegiance. Then we moved into public comment and discussion. And let's see. I'm working from notes. There was no public comment from anyone in Crescent Valley. However, there was public comment from Randy Klatt. And what you are going to notice I am going to do is I am going to be reading the notes. It'll make it seem more lifelike. And I'm not doing print. So there was a public comment from Randy Klatt, who said, "My name is Randy Klatt. I'm from the TV board, and I just wanted to let the public and the commissioners know that we have an office phone number now for our technician, and it's 775-237-2244. He said they've had it for a few weeks, and they've had a positive response from some of their clients out in the field, and they're working on getting some of the problems solved." Mike Sharkozy, Commissioner, said, "Sounds good." J.J. Goicoechea, Chairman, said, "Thanks, Randy." Anybody else? Nobody up north. They considered items requiring action, and Chairman Goicoechea said, "I don't have anything at this time." Rich, Commissioner McKay, said he did not either. Then they moved on to approval of the minutes. Chairman Goicoechea asked for a motion to approve the minutes of September 20th, 2021. Commissioner Sharkozy motion to approve those minutes. Commissioner McKay seconded, and all were in favor. And so those minutes of September 20th, 2021 were approved. Next section was the county comptroller. Kim Todd is the comptroller. Ms. Todd came before the commissioners for payment of expenditures and discussed the fact that, let's see, that they were dealing with something to do with Rancorp. And in any case, Chairman Goicoechea said he would entertain a motion to approve expenditures in the amount of $2,055,440.14, which included a pass-through of $719.48 to the Nevada Division of Taxation for room tax, $1,061,539.08 to the state controller for school taxes, $14,078.19 to the state controller, $31,650 for the Division of Minerals, and $129 for the Washoe County Crime Lab, with total pass-throughs of $1,100,000 $108,115.75. Chair Mike Sharkozy motioned to approve the expenditures. Rich McKay seconded the motion. All were in favor. Chairman Goicoechea led a review of the fund balance report and noted to the commissioners that, quote, Kim handed you a piece of paper this morning. That is correct. She says the other one had the schools unpaid for some reason, the one she emailed out. And Kim said, yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what happened because the pooled cash was showing that the school was paid out, but the fund balance wasn't. Chairman Goicoechea noted that there was some computer glitch. We just need good IT. We have it figured out. Kim said, it's not the end of life. Please don't replace my program. Chairman Goicoechea said, that's not even funny. And Kim said, we're staying with it. Chairman Goicoechea asked the other commissioners, all right, there are no questions on the fund balance report from anybody. The other commissioners said they had no questions. And then Miss Todd excused herself, thanked the commissioners, and then moved on to the next agenda item, which was the 9:55 commissioners item, discuss, approve, or deny signing the interlocal health services agreement with Churchill County. And Chairman Goicoechea led the discussion, which was the commissioner signing an interlocal health services agreement with Churchill County. And I am going to read from the notes as much as possible to give you a real appreciation of what happened at the meeting. This is, so I just need to say it came up yesterday in Churchill, from what I understand, a question about why is Churchill, quote, unquote, paying to provide services in Eureka. This was a $2 million grant, if you will, of some of the ARPA money to Churchill County for the exact purpose of figuring out where there were holes, because the state was aware that they couldn't meet all the needs as the pandemic started, whether it was indigent health or mental health or pandemic or whatever. So this is just for those in the room that haven't heard me say this the last 3 or 4 meetings. So the hope is to get a health district stood up through the center of the state, outside the big state of Nevada, one that we currently operate on. There are several other ones in the state already doing it. One is a Quad Counties over on the western side. So it'd be something very similar. They have the money. They have to spend this money. They have to spend this money, or it goes back to the state, and they have reached out and said, hey, if you guys could use it. So the contract's here. Ted, the district attorney, had reviewed it. He's not here this morning, said Chairman Goicoechea. He had to go to court this morning, so he's not able to be here. But he did review this before. We made a couple of changes to it, went to Churchill. They were satisfied with those changes, and they did execute it yesterday. Churchill County did. So with that, there's a job description here as well. 2 job descriptions. What this is going to entail. There will be a 19-hour-a-week community nurse available for both ends of the county. Then there is what's called a resource liaison. I've talked to Millie Orem this morning regarding that person. I was going to give you some, so interviewing, investigating to gain necessary information to determine potential eligibility for programs is one of them. They're going to be doing a lot of this indigent type thing, community assistance type thing. It will help Millie Orem, who is the director of our senior centers and does a lot of social service work for the county. It will help Millie out a bunch in the outreach. And then they're also going to be out. Miss Butel came to us earlier in the year and talked about someone they can get a hold of, some of our seniors and some of these people that may have a need for some counseling or something. This person is going to be coordinating that and doing that outreach, again, on both ends of this county. While we tend to focus on COVID right now, that's only part of it. They'll obviously be doing that, helping Jeb and Kenny Sanders, this is the EMT coordinator, coordinate vaccinations, that kind of thing. This outreach will. And then the community health nurse will actually be helping administer those vaccines, doing that testing as needed. So when we have a case where somebody needs to get tested and you're told it's going to be 3 days or you got to drive to XYZ to get it done, we can facilitate that in house. It will be rapid tests that we already have, and we will have PCR capability, mail out PCR capability. So this is going to augment what is currently being done. Maybe on the next agenda, we'll put something on related to monoclonal antibody treatments, and the state is looking to do some mobile, offer some more mobile types of that as well. Might be very beneficial up in Crescent Valley. I know the clinic has it here. Part of the problem is the amount of time it takes, and people are sitting in the clinic for a long period of time. It's their hope that they would be able to do that through us. And then that clinic can continue to see patients as they need, and we can be doing a little bit more of that antibody stuff. But we got to get these people on the ground first before we can go there. So unfortunately, I thought I had a good candidate for a nurse, and they've elected to not apply. Application will be through Churchill County. These will be Churchill County employees, qualifies for PERS, but it's Churchill County benefits through the next biennium. My hope is. And we'll see what we do as a board. But we would end up funding this through the health district at some point that we hope we can create it. And then it'd be Eureka County going forward. But we'll just see how it works out. Right now it's free, and it's something we got to try to help meet the needs. No questions? I'm sure there are. Commissioner Rich McKay said, it's like, I like the whole concept of getting these resources in to help us, right? Both the nurse and the health worker. He said he hadn't had the chance to read the job description because it came in so late. And he said, and what Chairman Goakachia stated about the role of this person makes sense to me. Working with the seniors, working with the indigent. He asked if they had tied in with Nisi and if they had tied in with William B. Ryrie Clinic. Is it kind of everyone kind of on, yep, we see this is coming in, so there's not any potential overlays. Chairman Goakachia said, so this doesn't have anything to do with Bernicia or William B., either one. This is strictly going to be Eureka County, and it's going to be through Millie Orem of the Senior Center as Social Services. Commissioner McKay said, okay, because you mentioned indigent. So that's what. And Chairman Goakachia said, right. And Commissioner McKay said, with Nisi running the indigent, that's what kind of like, what? Well, so how does that? Chairman Goakachia said, well, they could reach out to this person if they need them to do income verification, for example. And Commissioner McKay said, okay. Chairman Goakachia said, for them, while they're out in the field, but this person is going to most likely has to fit underneath Millie as far as that daily supervision. Churchill. It'll be a Churchill employee. They're going to want Millie to be like, okay, you're making sure the person is doing what they need to every day. No, she needs to call Pernicia's, hey, can you run out to XYZ for me? Absolutely, that's the job. And Commissioner McKay said, okay. Chairman Goakachia said, if I need to as a health officer, hey, can you go check on this person? Can you make a phone call? Follow up on our COVID patients during the day. Commissioner McKay said, Chairman Goakachia said, and make sure they're healthy. Make sure they don't need anything. Be sure they don't need groceries. That's what this person will do. But again, it's outside William B. Nothing to do with William B., who runs the Eureka Clinic, which is a health provider out of Ely, Nevada. And it will just augment the services we have in the community. And I imagine they're going to be spending a significant amount of time on the north end for a while, which is where I'm broadcasting from. Crescent Valley is the north end. Getting their feet on the ground up there. We should start receiving like a refrigerator, freezer type stuff to store vaccine and stuff maybe next week after. But we're still shooting for the 15th. So again, if anybody knows anyone, Jackie has these job descriptions that refers to Jackie Berg, the commissioner's secretary. apply through Churchill County. It's very easy, and they will be selecting that successful candidate. So if there's nothing, that's all just background, guys, for the agreement. The agreement is what we're acting on now because we don't have to approve the job description because it's Churchill's. Commissioner McKay said, okay. Chairman said, they are providing this to us. Commissioner McKay said, okay, if we wanted to augment the job description, do we have the opportunity to do that at some point? And the chairman answered, it's Churchill County's. That is what they are running under. They have, I don't know how many of these on the ground now, 17 or 18 people. Commissioner McKay was like, oh, wow. So the chairman reiterated, so we're just using their job description. Chairman, Commissioner Sarkozy asked how many counties are involved with them right now. And Chairman Goicoechea said, us. Commissioner Sarkozy said, that's it. And the chairman said, that's it. They're trying to get Mineral on board and Pershing on board right now, but it's us that they are doing this for. So, and that, I mean, expect them to be out once, twice a week as they get started to make sure there aren't any questions, driving around, getting to know everybody. Commissioner Sarkozy said, I'm talking about driving around. Do we have a vehicle available? The chairman said, so no, we haven't. We kicked that around a little bit and we don't know what we're going to do yet. They haven't said if we need one, if we don't, what they want to do. So we'll work on that, and I bet we can find something if we need to. If we had to run to the north end, but that did not come up in here, and they didn't know what they wanted to do yet either. So vehicle-wise, we're going to give them Jeb's pickup. Jeb Rowley said, can't get him. And JG said, no, you're the one you're currently driving, and you're getting a bicycle. I didn't tell you that. Jeb Rowley said, I could use the exercise. JJ Goicoechea, the chairman, said, put a little snowplow on the front. You can drop as you go down the street. Any other questions on that? And Commissioner McKay said, I don't think so. So JJ said, okay, well, if you do, just get a hold of me and we'll get through it. Commissioner McKay said, okay, all right. So Chairman Goicoechea entertained a motion to approve. Commissioner Sarkozy said, I'll make a motion, we approve. Commissioner McKay seconded it, and all were in favor. The next item on the agenda was the discuss, approve, or deny the application of one individual, name of victim withheld, for financial assistance from Eureka County for counseling pursuant to Eureka County Code, Title 11, Chapter 30, for possible action. And they approved that. The next item on the agenda was review letters of interest and discuss, approve, or deny appointing an individual to the vacant county employee seat on the Medical Clinics Advisory Committee for the remainder of a 2-year term through December 31st, 2023 for possible action. And Chairman Goicoechea said on reviewing letters of interest that that was the item being discussed, excuse me. And Secretary Berg, Jackie Berg, noted that there were 3 letters that all came in kind of late. And Chairman Goicoechea said, I got to look at my packet. Jackie said, one's in the packet, but she made hard copies of all of them. And one was from Shay French, another was from Miles Umina, and the third was from herself. And Chairman Goicoechea said, okay. And so Commissioner McKay asked to have it repeated who they were, and it was noted that it was Shailene French. And Chairman Goicoechea asked, what's the pleasure of the group? He said, they're all good candidates to me. Commissioner McKay said, they're all, but he noted that the nice thing with Jackie, Mrs. Berg, is that we kind of already have her because she's secretary of the board. So we have her expertise, which is nice. Jackie noted that she didn't have voting power, though. And Chairman Gogachia said she wants voting power. And so they discussed it. And Commissioner Sarkozy noted that he was up in the air, but it said it probably was a good thing to have Jackie. And Chairman Goicoechea agreed that it would be a good thing to have Mrs. Berg on as a voting member as well. They all agreed, by and large. Chairman Goicoechea said, I can support that, so asked for a motion. Commissioner Sarkozy said he'd make a motion for it to be Jackie. JJ seconded it. Commissioner McKay said, I'm probably going to think it would be good to have an EMS or so person on there, so he declined. But it passed with Chairman Goicoechea and Commissioner Sarkozy voting in favor. So we got that done. Let's see. So, and a special thank you to Miss Jackie Berg for sending me her notes, which I just worked from because I was about 15 minutes late to the meeting. Now, we're going to work from my notes. Oops. All right. So next on the agenda was, let's see, the Senior Centers. Millie Oram, Senior Center Program Director. And the question was, the agenda item was update report on activities at Eureka Senior Center and Fanny Comp Senior Center. The Fanny Comp Senior Center is the senior center in Crescent Valley. So Mrs. Oram said, everything's going great. There are no issues. Seniors are starting to come back. They're going to stop the night dinners because they don't want the seniors out when it's late and dark, and they don't want them walking with the weather the way it is. And she noted that in October, the Eureka Center served 756 meals, or 38 meals per day, and the Crescent Valley Center served 729 meals, or 37 per day. So they're almost tied. If there was like a competition between who attended more at which senior center served more, they're really close. Crescent Valley, keep it up. You're close. Sorry, I had to throw a little humor in there. And Mrs. Oram also noted that they deposited $8,297 for October. And right now they're considering asking the seniors for Christmas if they want to draw names for the Christmas party. And Millie said they're heading straight forward. Chairman Goicoechea noted that Christmas is right around the corner. The next item on the agenda was, actually they skipped the IT department and they went to Sheriff Jesse Watts, who did an Sheriff's Office Award presentation. So Jesse Watts said, number one, he wanted to present awards in recognition for the men and women of the Eureka County Sheriff's Department, and he apologized for getting emotional, and he was sad to say not everyone receiving an award was there today, and he says some things happened today that couldn't be pushed out, and he noted 2.5 years he's been blessed with some of the greatest people in the world, people who choose to serve the citizens, and the first thing he wanted to do was Deputy Thomas taking on training and classes, awarded a management certificate. And there were a lot of children in the room. You could hear a lot of children. And Sheriff Watts noted that none of the staff knew today was happening. And then he quoted Webster's definition of valor, which encourage a person to encounter danger with bravery, great courage. He noted the video of the killing of the man from Nevada City in June, which he was praising his officers for doing. That Sheriff Thomas was faced with life-changing events. He noted, said that Sheriff Thomas was faced with a, quote, evil man attempting to take his life. We will be discussing in a future episode the judgment of Sheriff Watts calling the victim of the shooting that day, who was killed, and characterizing him as an evil man. I have had members of the public personally question that statement by Sheriff Jesse Watts of referring to the man that they killed as evil. But anyway, that's an editorial comment. So he was, praising Sheriff Thomas, faced with life-changing events, faced with an evil man attempting to take his life, and bullets were so close to the head, and he knew what had to be done. So the sheriff presented him with a Medal of Valor, presented under the circumstances of selflessly, risking his life, an act of courage involving extreme risk above and beyond the call of duty, without regard for personal safety, and so that Sheriff Thomas had substantially contributed to the protection of human life in his encounter with his adversary, above the call of duty, based on sound judgment, and did not unduly jeopardize the individual. So he awarded Sheriff Thomas with a Medal of Valor. And then Sheriff Jesse Watts noted that an award ceremony of this type had never been done before at a commission meeting. Giving out distinguished medals hadn't been done in the sheriff's office. And he, commented that none of the, it was a surprise to the deputies. So that was that, and a photo op, and there were a lot of people in there, and applause, and taking pictures, and I haven't seen this week's Eureka Sentinel, but I have a bet going that those pictures were sent by the sheriff's office to the Eureka Sentinel for publicity, positive publicity for the sheriff's office. And I will comment that we are going to continue following up on the Eureka County Sheriff's Office, despite the fact that not enough signatures were garnered for the recall, because I'm an investigative journalist, and I am happy to note that Dave Hicks, I believe that's his first name, the grandson of Connie Hicks, who was the reporter for the Eureka Sentinel for many years before I was. I was the reporter from 2005 until 4 years ago, whatever, do the math. And Connie covered Eureka news for many years before me. So her grandson, well, I am happy to hear, is running for sheriff. So let me take a moment to announce that, as well as doing the Eureka County Commission news every 2 weeks, and this is most likely the style I will be using to do the news, I'm also covering law enforcement. I am covering and justice court system. I am covering child abuse and the kidnapping of children by alleged kidnapping of children by CPS, Child Protective Services, and not just within Eureka, but nationally, staunchly supporting recovery from ritual abuse, growing up in, with parents who are residential school survivors, people who are recovering from having grown up in foster care. So we'll be covering those issues. And also, let's see if I think of anything else. But I just do want to mention that I am very much looking forward to having our lunch hour news blocks because, say, I have someone from Eureka County who works for Eureka County who wants to discuss their work as a private citizen. For instance, the gals who organized the potential recall of Sheriff Jesse Watts were Ashley Adams, who works in the district attorney's office, Cindy Butel, the wife of the district attorney, and Miss Jackie Berg, the commissioner's secretary. And I do understand that J.J. Goicoechea did sign the petition, although I understand that his father, Assemblyman Pete Goicoechea, chose to stay neutral and didn't. But in any case, we are going to continue to have discussions and talk about what's going on. As you know, I have calls into Stephen King's office because I want to ask him why he wrote the novel Desperation. And as I've said to others within our community, I love Eureka County. I consider it to be more of a Shangri-La or a Brigadoon, and I really don't like our county being known for being the site of Stephen King's Desperation. I think we need to put an end to that characterization, and so there needs to be some cleanup of malpractice. Malpractice is a good way to put it. I would consider in the sheriff's department because it's really easy for men with guns to abuse their power. All right, well, I am a person and I am a robot, so you can be sure that as the editor and publisher, I have a point of view. And I don't work for the deep state. You can't accuse me of being fake news. I'm probably too real for many of you. Okay, back to our agenda. So, after the photo opportunity and Sheriff Jesse Watts, for the first time ever, commandeering the commission meeting to give awards to his deputy for shooting to death a man in June who could have been shot with tranquilizer darts, but was killed instead. And then all of that lovely not footage was blasted all over, like looking like they were on a hunt. But Jesse Watts thought it was really cool, so he gave the guy a certificate, award of valor. I'm sorry. It's my show, Jesse. So, back to the agenda. I'm sorry. If somebody else wants to start a news channel, go ahead. But maybe you might find you don't have 50 years of journalism experience like I do. And maybe you'll find out I'm just make it look easy. Okay, back to the agenda. So next up, the sheriff put on the agenda, discuss, approve, or deny out-of-state travel and per diem authorization for Under Sheriff Tyler Thomas to travel to Alabama January 16th through 29th, 2022 to attend training at the Staff and Command College. So Jesse explained that the Staff Command College, that Officer Thomas has had to watch 41 video lectures, do essays, case studies, research projects. It's the FBI National Academy. And technically, it's 320 hours of classwork, and he's put in over 500 hours advanced management training, an executive certificate. Oh, and this FBI National Academy has done over 17 million training hours since 2010. The in-person block is the last part of Under Sheriff Thomas's course, so he has to travel to Alabama. It's the final, as Sheriff Watts said, coup de grace, quote. Commissioner Sarkozy motioned to approve. It was asked if there was no place closer than Alabama. There was not. Oh, and then the next item on the agenda was discuss, approve, or deny out-of-state travel and per diem authorization for Jesse Watts to travel to Alabama January 26th through 29th to attend the undersheriff's graduation from Staff and Command College. Sheriff Watts noted that he was asked to also attend the graduation because it's such a big ceremony from the FBI. Well, the commissioners were gracious enough to approve that. Then the next item was, let's see, discuss, approve, or deny out-of-state travel and per diem authorization for Sheriff Jesse Watts to attend the COPS, Concerns of Police Survivors, National Conference on Law Enforcement, Wellness, and Trauma in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, November 11th through 14th, 2021, with all other expenditures paid by COPS. So, let's see. So, let's see. Per diem from Thursday to Sunday next week. That was, that's this next week. So, actually, today's the 11th. So, Jesse, have a nice time in Oklahoma City. You must be there right now. Oklahoma. I'm sorry. Doing the news is kind of boring. So I have to liven it up a little. Oklahoma, where the wind goes whistling down the plains. All right. All right, back to the news. So, let's see. So Jesse Watts is in Oklahoma right now. And it was only the per diem, which, in case you don't know, per diem means like their meals. Everything else was covered by some other cops. The Fraternal Order. Then Jesse decided the next item on the agenda was a statement by Jesse Watts. And he said he was just going to go off the hip and thank the citizens and he was really gracious. He thanked the people who filed the recall. And he said he's going to fix said issues and make sure we, the people that serve the people, are doing it for the right reasons and make one mission of serving the citizens. Let's see. Okay. So now we are going back to the, let's see, out of state, American urgent, then we went to search and rescue. Okay, we went to search and rescue. Arnold Pina, SAR Commander, Southern Division, discuss, approve, or deny out-of-state travel and tuition costs totaling $5,085 or $1,695 per student to be paid with monies budgeted for search and rescue in the sheriff's budget for 3 search and rescue volunteers to attend the American Emergency Response Training's Advanced Technical 70-hour rescue course on the USS North Carolina BB-55 battleship January 23rd through January 29th, 2022. Note, students will pay their own travel, lodging, and food expenses. So, JJ made the joke that he didn't expect a battleship to show up in Eureka, so they had to go there for that one. And he noted that there were monies in the budget, and he wanted to thank Arnold for the work done on that, as far as rope training and different rescue training. And he noted that the search and rescue put in a lot of hours, and, it was nice to give something back to them. And that was it for the sheriff. And then we went back to the 10:30 agenda items, which were, or 10:10 agenda items, which was the IT department, Misty Rowley, IT director, and she gave an update report on IT projects and activities. Let's see. Misty Rowland noted that cyber networks were down, and that they programmed and installed 2 new switches for the Crescent Valley and Eureka Library, 3 new switches in the sheriff's office and the court. They tested fiber and verified 500 MG speeds fed I'm sorry, my notes aren't that clear here. They updated Wi-Fi access points, updated routers, put a panic button to the justice court, in the justice court to the sheriff's office. They got quotes on recabling. They're working with AT&T. The internet was so slow at the clinic because of the firewall. The clinic was barely able to operate. So that was Misty's report. And then they had the agenda item of discuss, approve, or deny purchase of cellular equipment for the Eureka County Fiber Expansion Project as a temporary broadband solution in Crescent Valley pending availability of fiber for an amount not to exceed $12,596, which is $10,496.25, plus a 20% contingency for equipment, with an additional not to exceed amount of $10,000 for labor. Labor quotes are pending but may be available by meeting time, utilizing monies budgeted for fiber optics in Crescent Valley in the Capital Projects Fund or other funding source to be identified by the board for possible action. And they approved it. Yay! Thank you, commissioners. Next was discuss, approve, or deny whether to authorize the IT department, to seek out a qualified contractor for the limited purpose of identifying grants for broadband infrastructure. Note, this request is for funding of the infrastructure only and not to create a government-run internet service provider. Good note. I guess they approved looking for a contractor. I'm not seeing that in my notes. Huh. Wow, where did the rest of that go? I seem to have lost my all right. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to skip those items because I'm not seeing my notes. Then let's see. There was a 10:35 agenda item, Crescent Valley Volunteer Fire Department, Eldon Brown, Fire Chief, who was out working. He works for Public Works, so he wasn't there. But the question was to discuss, approve, or deny a request to use $500 from the North End Activity Fund to purchase prizes, gift cards for first, second, and third place for the Parade of Lights scheduled in Crescent Valley on December 11th, and if approved, issue the check to Eldon Brown, and it was approved. So let's see. Next up, let's turn to, if these pages are in order, my notes are in order. Okay, then let's go to Ray Hodson, Assistant Public Works Director. Mr. Hodson noted that they've been working on the Mustang and Sadler roads. They bladed Antelope, taking advantage of moisture, excuse me. They were just about done blading on Mustang, moving to Segura and starting work on in Grass Valley. They were having to haul water to help. They were heading up to the Tonkin Springs Road, and they're working as fast as they can to get the roads wrapped up by Thanksgiving before the roads freeze up. They cleaned cattle guards. They were sweeping and mowing in the valley and where the weeds and brush grew terribly. And they had all of the water trucks running. They had to haul water for 3 bars and Roberts Creek. Up in the north end, they finished up the Rose Ranch and Willow Corral. They were working Maggie Creek, Palisade. Then at Rose Ranch, they were installing culverts and focusing on winter gravel haul. In Crescent Valley, they winterized the sprinkler systems and are trying to get ahead of the weeds for next year, sterilizing around fire hydrants. And so they're having success in filling the road department vacancy with a transfer from the water department, which is Eldon Brown, who came in from water. Let's see. He wanted to report on the first snowstorm of the year and said that they worked hard before the snow came to get the equipment ready to go. They had one snowplow that wouldn't start, and part of the problem with the storm was they had a power outage and they had to pull the snow guys off the plow in town. Snowstorms in town, people going to see snow in their driveways and have snow. Ray said they try to get around and hit the driveways, but people are going to have to deal with a little bit of snow in their driveways. And he said just as the people drive around Elko and Carlin, and when they're complaining that Public Works hasn't cleared their driveways quickly enough. That's funny. People in Eureka are really spoiled, I guess. So let's see. People in town are pretty well taken care of. They are. There's elderly people in Eureka who I can imagine calling, "Why is there still snow in my driveway?" Poor Raymond. Let's see. So he noted that they have taken over snow removal at the airport, which had all of their plows tied up. He said he actually went out and did the airport. That in an emergency he could have it done in 30 minutes, but to do all of the airport it takes about 4 hours. Back to snow removal in town. But he asked the people of Eureka for snow removal policy to remember, if you're not using your cars or trailers, to park them off the street or at least on one side of the street. And he noted that clearing snow in the subdivisions is a challenge because of how narrow the roads are. And he also noted blading is slowed down because having to haul water. And he noted that they will be moving to Palisade next week. And if they have to haul water, they're going to have to haul it from Biawawe. He noted he met with Rita at the Palisade Ranch and will have a report in 30 days. Noted that the Public Works coverage in the Crescent Valley office from Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 2, that sometimes the person has to step out of the office and do other things and is a phone call away. And if anybody needs them, they'll come right down and take care of stuff. And that on the day before commission meeting, that the person working in the office was there from 10 to 2 and had one person come in. And he noted that it ties up one person for not much, but that you got the bathrooms clean and may have to step out and sign on the door and leave a sign on the door. He noted that cleanup month was a big success in Crescent Valley. Just like always, Atlas Towing comes and brings bins. And I personally, on behalf of my company, the White Buffalo Nation and the Central Valley Trading Post, and Central Valley Report and all of, I really want to thank Public Works for letting us take things to the dump. I was able to clean a lot of things that were here on the property that needed to go away. And I really appreciate you guys being there to receive it. You're really good attitude, and it just, I wish you still came and picked it up from the street, but regardless, here, this is what I say to Public Works. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And to the commissioners. Let's see. So, Commissioner Chairman Gokachia asked how much the scrap was worth and said $200. And by the way, to the person who's watching the news and making comments, I am not reading your comments right now. I will get to them later. But right now I'm just, it's like I'm pretending to be Barbara Walters, or Walter Cronkite. So I'm not taking questions from the audience at the moment. Thank you. So then we moved to, let's see. We moved on to Public Works Director Jeb Rowley. And let's see. Okay. And he gave a report on Public Works projects and activities. And he noted for Kenny Sanders of EMS report on an immunization event at the vaccination center. There were 66 reported vaccinations and flu shots, and that Public Works offered support on that task if need be. There were 12 flu shots given. There's leftover vaccine at the clinic, including pediatric, about 20 doses. Lost track of October rapid test order. There's a 520 test order. It's still in order, and they should have tracking soon. Let's see. All right. Oh, but this was because they were discussing vaccines, because it has an impact on sports for the high school students. And they were discussing the fact that with spring sports, they need to be supplementing, or need to be able to rapid test so children can go to compete. Chairman Gokachia said, why have to get stood up on 15th, have to test on Mondays, not Wednesdays, mail out PCRS, test on Mondays so kids can travel out. And someone asked if there was the chance of acquiring a diagnostic machine that gives results. And Chairman Gokachia noted that the only one was in the Churchill lab, which is 100 miles away, and now everybody's backed up 3 or 4 days. Otherwise, you have to send state tests out of state through FedEx, get back the next day, and that tests can't be mailed overnight out of Eureka, and that they have to be couriered to Elko. And Jeb Rowley noted that was about it for vaccines and testings. Then he noted that they're working on an MOU for the road ranch maintenance, communication with Wilkins, replacing fire panels in the senior center and clinic. Eureka crew's been doing insulating meter pits, had blockage in sewer mains, and have been flushing lines. We're working on snowplow designs, and Eureka Canyon parcels coming with. And JJ told a joke. He said that Jeb was getting his turd herder license. That was pretty funny, JJ. And JJ took that, Jeb took that gracefully. So that was his report. Then let's see. Then we moved on to natural resources, and Jake Tibbetts noted that he'd been tied up in, and I hope he wasn't literally tied up, Jeb Jake, don't let them tie you up. Come on, we got to have a little humor here. Jake noted, and because it's my show, I am going to, and I'm not NBC, CBS, CNN, fake news. I ain't your daddy's news channel or your mama's. Is mine. I'm going to smoke a cigarette. Can you imagine? Just like the old days. Remember like Rosalind Russell when she was like a reporter and she'd sit there and be all hard boiled and, tough news reporter gal and smoking a cigarette. Yeah. So here I am doing the news, smoking a cigarette. And this was, by the way, this poster of Mayan gods was my mother's. And a special shout out to my mother, Merle Wolf, who got her degree in journalism from Ohio State. And I'm following in my mother's footsteps. And also in my grandfather's footsteps, because he was a lawyer and I'm an investigator. So I get to be the best of both. I get to be a journalist and an investigator, an honest investigator at the same time. I love it. And thank you. For necessity is the mother of invention. If it just, I kept putting off covering the news and expecting the newspapers to do it. And they're not. So hence is born the Central Valley Report. Okay, so back to Jake Tibbetts. Let's see, and what are Jake's agenda items? Let's see. It's so nice I can smoke a cigarette in my own house. And nobody can... Miss Wolf, right, you cannot be smoking while you're doing the news. And I'm like, yeah, I can. And okay, I think the camera is not placed quite right. I think there's like way too much space up here. Whoever's the camera technician, we need to fix that. Oh, it's me? I'm talking to myself as usual. All right. Okay, enough of the humor. So back to Jake Tibbetts. All right, where are we? Oh, I lost my third page of my agenda. Oh, okay. Here we are. Natural Resources. Jake Tibbetts, Natural Resources Manager. Number 1, report on current and emerging natural resource issues affecting Eureka County. It was a discussion. As I said, Jake said he'd been tied up in adjudication hearings that continue, and he'll have more on that next week. But he said he had a reprieve till March when they start up again. He said the upcoming Monday, which has already happened, there was Fallon range training. On the 10th, the Division of Water Resources regarding a time extension. And he asked Karen Peterson for help on those. She's been reviewing and providing written comments. On the 12th, which is tomorrow, the Central Nevada Regional Water Authority is meeting. On November 15th, the N6 Grazing Board is meeting in Eureka. NRAC is moving, which is the Natural Resource Advisory Committee or Commission, I think it's committee, is moving their meeting from the 3rd Wednesday to the 17th. Mr. Tibbetts noted that the draft EIS for the Gold Rush Mine is available for review. And some noted there was comments from previous documents, and that project has one more last step before it goes out to the public for comment. He expects that to happen very soon, but within the first of next year. Tibbetts noted that at the commission meeting on the 19th that he wouldn't be there in person, but he's going to make sure they have background information and he can call in because he won't be there in person. Then he noted something that I am going to be following up on and contacting the company that's doing this exploration because it does affect Crescent Valley And the White Buffalo Nation actually owns an 8-acre parcel out near where this next item is taking place. So there's scoping comments on an environmental assessment on a Crescent Valley geothermal exploration project, which presently is a 69-page report. And let's see how my notes were. Jake said the first 21 provides all they are doing, that it's pretty boilerplate. The comment period is not up until November 18th. Jake said he got a call from somebody interested in the project in Crescent Valley, and he noted that he and Jeb Rowley met with Scott Nichols and Ellen Peterson. They've been at multiple NRAC meetings, provided maps. Much of this is exploration. They're drilling wells to test the geothermal resource, test temperature, drawdown, and if they find a reliable resource, then move on to developing a power plant and in new exploration. They're being allowed to drill up to 8 wells. Each well will have no more than 2 acres. There's going to be some upgrade of access roads. I wonder if they're going to upgrade my road that goes to my site. Yay, which is on the Dewey Dan 431 Dewey Dan Ranch Road is where my 8 acres are. And don't mess with my property, because we're actually having, that's our Mblecha site where the elders come and we do vision quests out there, and it's sacred land. So I don't want a bunch of noise and disturbance, you geothermal explorers, okay? I am a property owner out there, as well as the publisher and editor of this news service. And I will be calling you to do some more reporting on this. Expect to be interviewed. So let's see. Upgrade some access roads. Much is on private land. It's checkerboard out there between Dewey Dan Ranch that Nevada owns and Cottonwood Canyon, where the mine has rapid infiltration basins. A lot of private and public land also have private leases. If you go out there right now, you'll see a well rig drilling a well, because on private land, they don't have to get permission. Somebody asked, how are they already drilling a well, and why is the county getting involved? That they're going to be upgrading roads, developing new spurs, access area on current roads, propose to widen those roads, and that the county will be involved. They don't have right-of-way for BLM, have prescriptive right-of-way, can maintain the current disturbance, can add gravel if widened. The company's going to have to get a right-of-way. It was asked whether the county manages widened roads, and Jake answered, brought up to Nichols with Ormat, may want to revert that right-of-way to the county, so have prescriptive right-of-way, and any additions had to widen to put cattle guards in, widen to get portion, not uncommon, is water used for drilling of wells and pump, half mile to mile different, and he noted that it's different than alluvium water, and there are water rights issues, and that's what the EA is for. Steps through typical boilerplate things, ask them to include work with emergency services, if in the event the county would be the responders. And Jake said if there were any questions, he was happy to answer them. Jake said they have current leases. Stipulations will apply. That geothermal is considered a mineral resource tied to net proceeds of mining. Net proceeds of minerals on geothermal resources, while treated as taxation, it's not under a claim. It's not considered a right like mining is. If there is a claim, have right of that resource. There's a lot more leverage that agencies like the Department of Wildlife have on geothermal leases, which are considered a discretionary action. He said Ormat, O-R-M-A-T, is a very reputable company that recently purchased the Biawawe geothermal power plant. And he again said they are very reputable. They know what they are doing. and that if they're looking in that area and drilling up to 8 wells, we will likely see a geothermal power plant out there. And he motioned to approve because the question was discuss and consider providing scoping comments to BLM for consideration in preparation of an environmental assessment for the proposed Ormat Crescent Valley geothermal exploration project. And it was motioned to approve, and it was approved. So I will be following up, Jake Tibbetts, with you and with Ormat, and I expect that we will be doing a special newscast live like this. All right, just a heads up. The next question was Natural Resources. Discuss and consider signing Memorandum of Understanding, which establishes the Fallon Range Training Complex Intergovernmental Executive Committee. And that was signed. And then there was a topic of writing a letter to Deb Haaland, Secretary of the Interior, who I understand will likely be coming to visit the Battle Mountain BLM office shortly, and I've already spoken to them about asking to do an interview with Miss Haaland when she comes, and also the White Buffalo Nation will be most likely giving an award to Doug Furtado and the Mount Lewis Field Office because we have been their partners. We had been their partners in creating a Pony Express historical kiosk as a public service to Eureka County, which is 2 miles south of the General Molly Mine entrance. And as we're getting ready to open and looking, we hope, thanks to my chief financial officer, Chief Geronimo Thomas Langendorfer, it looks as though we're going to be getting grant funding to put in our Mending the Sacred Hoop Healing Oasis, which will very nicely dovetail with the new facility that Elko is putting in, where they're planning on assisting with the interviewing of children who are abuse and sexual abuse survivors. We are planning on putting in a residential treatment program here to assist men, women, and children who are recovering from the trauma of escaping from human trafficking, with all of its attendant ancillary evils such as domestic violence, alcoholism, and all the various post-traumatic stress disorders that go with it. This is just a note. You probably don't know, people of Eureka County, that my bachelor's degree that I started at Harvard, Radcliffe, I'm the same class as Caroline Kennedy and Maura Moynihan, that I got my training as a poet from the Librarian of Congress at Harvard, thanks Robert Fitzgerald, and that I at Sarah Lawrence, which was a program developed by the late Joseph Campbell, that I studied early childhood education, that I have a certificate in drama and poetry therapy, and that I designed mixed media arts therapy programs for homeless children in New York, for which I was featured in the New York Times in an article written by Sidney Sheldon with photos by Dith Pran, the gentleman whom the movie The Killing Fields was about. And the book that I proposed writing was actually written by Stephen Levine. It was called Rachel's Children, and it won a Pulitzer Prize. It was about homeless children in 6 cities. So we're getting ready with the assistance of the Honorable Deb Haaland to open a center here. And so that will dovetail very nicely with the request that the commissioners through Jake Tibbetts are making, announced at the meeting, that they're requesting a meeting with Secretary Haaland to discuss wild horses. And there's concern in the county about the push to get away from big gathers and get back to filly control, which is controlling the ability of wild mares to get pregnant. And as you may or may not know, Eureka County and Chairman J.J. Goicoechea, I'm not sure if he still is, but he was the state veterinarian, and he is an expert on wild horses. And by the way, once I get the fencing up here on the property in Crescent Valley, I plan to be adopting wild horses because it's time to put my boots back on. And you may or may not know that I used to be a horse trainer myself and show Western, and that I have been just wanting to ride up into the hills to the west, and also that it's a really nice horseback ride from our main property here in Crescent Valley to our 8 acres, which is our festival site. So that is pretty much the commission news. And now, while I have everyone's attention, speaking of the work of the White Buffalo Nation, I am going to read the press release related to what we are doing here. And it's posted on Facebook, and I've sent it by private email to the Elko Daily Free Press and a number of other people. But here I'm going to read it. This is Lisa J. Wolfwright, Chairwoman President, WBN Inc., Chief Phil Lane Jr., Spiritual Advisor, Chief Geronimo Thomas Langender, First CFO, Payu Harris, COO, George C.D. Wright II, President Unpaid Now, Serena Heatherly, Secretary, 3039 Crescent Avenue, Crescent Valley, Nevada, 89821, phone 775-304-4071. Emails whitebuffalonation@gmail.com or lisajwolf@gmail.com, and our Skype is WBN Inc. And special thanks to Galen Cohen McRoberts for our logo. Press release. Grandma's House, 3039 Crescent Avenue, Crescent Valley, Nevada, 89821, Eureka County, Nevada. The White Buffalo Nation Inc.'s Central Valley Trading Post, Grandma's House, is hosting a Holy Day Market every Saturday until Christmas. Grandma's House Saturday Holy Day Market begins at 10 a.m. with a 1-hour Quaker-style silent meeting. 11 to 1 is lunchtime, free time, and gives time for vendors to set up their crafts and wares. Grandma's House will offer a lunch entree prepared by a member vendor. Suggested donations for the meal are welcome, and participants are welcome to bring potluck items to share for lunch and dinner as well. From 1 to 4 is the Holy Day Market Barter Fair. To vend at the Holy Day Market requires a $25 per month membership, which can be payable in cash or work trade. In addition, we request a vendor donation of 5 to 15% of sales based on vendor income level. From 4 to 6, Grandma's House features a child-friendly movie or games. From 6 to 7 is Super Supper Hour. From 7 to 9 is a comedy, song, poetry, karaoke, jam, and contest, and drum circle fun for the family. 20% of proceeds are earmarked for the Wounded Knee South Dakota Fire Lightning Teoshpea to help with elder/family winter electricity utility costs 20% of proceeds go into a legal fund to assist men, women, and children recovering from the effects of human trafficking / court fees. The remainder of proceeds help with operating construction expenses. The donation to attend is $5 in advance and $10 at the door, but we're probably just going to keep it at $5 per head. Grandma's House is a White Buffalo Nation Inc. community development project that plans to develop into the Mending the Hoop Healing Oasis / Grandmother's House, a model residential recovery and treatment facility for men, women, and children recovering from human trafficking and its ancillary effects, which include domestic violence, drug and alcohol addiction, and post-traumatic stress disorders, and will include Red Road to Wellbrighty programs and art, music, and drama therapies being developed in partnership with the FLMMIR, which is the Federal Land Management Mendocino Indian Reserve, and Chief Geronimo Thomas Langendorfer, and the Department of the Interior, Miss Deb Haaland. For more information or to make a reservation to attend, please phone Lisa Wolf Wright at 775-304-4071 or email lisajwolf@gmail.com. And I want to thank everyone for joining me for this episode of the Central Valley Report. This is my first time doing the news. I used to do print journalism. I hope that you enjoy getting the commission news in a more, perhaps, digestible form. Because I think that by working from notes that include what people actually said, you can actually get a sense of what's going on in your county government. Now, as I close this episode, I'm going to have to see if I can figure out how to, and we've been going for an hour, 17 minutes and 45 seconds. Oh, but I need to make a couple of other announcements. I have been calling in the last few days people who work for Eureka County, the Opera House, and I'm also going to be doing outreach and posting information about public events in Battle Mountain and Carlin. People know that I used to cover the Battle Mountain Commission meetings, and I used to cover the Carlin Town Council meetings. Now the Battle Mountain Bugle is still covering Battle Mountain, which is a good thing. As far as I know, there is no news coverage happening for Carlin, so this is a special message to the Carlin Town Council. I will very likely start coming to your meetings again and go back to doing the public service of letting the citizens of Carlin know what's going on. And also a special shout out to Ellen Mashevsky to let her know that I consider, that's why I'm calling it the Central Valley Report. That includes Carlin. That includes Battle Mountain. That includes this bioregion, as you know, as an organization like the Central Nevada Regional Water Authority acknowledges. I'm going to be making sure that the news gets out. I really appreciate my counterpart, Cynthia Delaney, at the Elko Daily Free Press. Thank you, Cynthia, for being willing to put our events in your calendar. I'm more than happy to do print journalism for the Elko Daily Free Press again, but this is the Virgin broadcast, so to speak, of the Central Valley Report covering the Eureka County Commission meeting. I hope that it wasn't too boring or too annoying. Thank you, everyone. Let's see if I can get out of here without losing the broadcast. And thank you again. So let's see. What am I doing here? There's not really any indication other than a little X in the corner over there. So let's see. I am going to assume, let's see, let me go and look at the chat if I can for a minute. My goodness. Well, let's see. So, let's see, Lord Winter, did I see, where did your comments go? If I can see them now, I can try and answer your question. Okay, live chat. They are approving what hopefully upgrades this town and just upgrading Eureka all the time. Everything is always about Eureka. Nothing is ever. Let's see. Let me see some more. Nothing is ever about Crescent Valley. I know you get your news from Eureka and can't control it. Cops shoot before they think, in my opinion. So this county will pay for travel, but not upgrades to Crescent Valley. It's okay. Snow don't bug me. I have all-weather tires in Crescent Valley. We get snow in abundance out here, and I have never gotten stuck. I plow my own driveway. Let's see. Lisa, do you have a trading post? What do you have for sale? Lord Winter, I would request that you call me, 775-304-4071. We have many things. We're focusing on children. So we have toys, and we have all kinds of gifts. We have books, CDs, but we're going to be open on Saturdays. Right now, I'm very busy. I do a lot of other things during the week. We're still doing construction. And so we're going to be doing the Saturday holiday markets. You know, I have, we are the Home Now Garden. I'm clearing the field so we can plant garlic for the winter. We're going to be planting apple trees. This is my motto, has been for a number of years. Sustainable communities with sustainable businesses, gardens, and schools for people of conscience and native homelands. As I said, we are also the Mending the Sacred Hoop Healing Oasis. We are Grandmother's House, which focuses on recovery for children and their parents who have been traumatized by the various human trafficking, ritual abuse. We are also One Shot Wonder Productions. We are starting a theater company, and our first production, when we get the licensing rights from Samuel French, is we will be doing casting for the play Our Town. You know, we do a lot here, and we work. Well, let me put it this way. The White Buffalo Nation, as we say, is a nation of positive prophecies being fulfilled for the people of the four directions: white, black, yellow, red, purple, polka dot, four-legged, two-legged, winged ones. We help to activate the positive prophecies of my Jewish tradition, which means we work in harmony with the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, as well as with the positive prophecies of the Lakota, Dakota, Nakota, of the White Buffalo Calf women. And basically our principle is that we honor the highest truths of all spiritual traditions, short of human and animal sacrifice. And we work for that which brings heaven on Mother Earth now. And that also respects like teachers like the Dalai Lama and others. We don't try to convert our neighbors. We try to learn from and help bring peace on earth. and the return of to be the living body of Christ. As we like to say, it's Jesus, and we are part of that. So I am going to hit the X in the corner of the screen, and hopefully it's going to finish this broadcast without losing it. If I lose it, thank you for joining us. I'm just learning. I lived outdoors for 10 years, and during that time, when I wanted when I wanted flour for making flatbreads, I took 2 rocks and some wheat berries and smashed them between a rock. So I've got some technical smarts, but YouTube has not made it particularly clear. But I'm going to push the X in the right-hand corner and hope. That's why I'm lighting a cigarette, because it's kind of stressful. If you have questions, news tips, if you'd like to advertise, feel free to email me. Right now, I'm just lisajwolf@gmail.com or whitebuffalonation@gmail.com. Yes, there is an email for the Central Valley Report, but I haven't started using it yet. I will have new business cards very soon. Thank you, everyone, for bearing with me. Eureka County has news again, and I'm really happy, because I'll tell you what, there has been no news coverage for Eureka County for about the last 4 or 5 years, and that's not a good thing. Now, I'm happy to say that I was very pleasantly impressed by the behavior of our county commissioners, and as always, JJ is funny. It's always fun to go to commission meetings that JJ is chairing, because he has a very good sense of humor. And Rich McKay, welcome aboard. I've been kind of out of the loop, but then I was farming for the last 3 years. Grandma was out farming, and you guys are ranchers, and you know how it is. But thank you for giving me the opportunity to fill the need. And on behalf of Mark Twain and all the other saucy members of the Fifth Estate, have a nice day. This has been Lisa Wolfwright with the Central Valley Report, coming to you live from the Central Valley, Crescent Valley, Nevada, also known as New Segovia. Ciao, Bella. And as we Lakota like to say, Doksha means later. Are you sure you want